All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little 49er video. Actually, a look ahead to the 49ers' next opponent, the Jacksonville Jaguars. I did a review of the Jaguars and the Steelers film, and we'll talk about it coming up next. Now, we're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle. Check them out, Corte Madera, Emeryville. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. or until they run out. Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Get the brisket chili. Go say hi to Damon and Mary. Tell them that Larry Krueger sent you. And this video brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. I'm loving Underdog Fantasy. This week in Underdog, I'm going Brock Purdy lower than 245.5 passing yards. Joe Burrow higher than 276.5 passing yards. Jamar Chase higher than 86.5 receiving yards. Geno Smith lower than 244.5 passing yards. And Travis Etienne Jr. higher than 64.5 rushing yards. Check that link in the description. Use the promo code Krug, and they will match your first deposit up to $100. Let's talk Jags. Jags and Steelers got it on going into the bye week in Pittsburgh, and Jacksonville got the win 20-10 over the Steelers. Jacksonville is 6-2, and they're playing really good football coming into this game against the 49ers. Let's talk a little bit about them. You know, one thing that's really clear about the Jaguars is they want to be physical, they want to be tough, and they want to create big plays. And they showed that in this game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Jacksonville overcame 3 turnovers and won their 5th game in a row. And Trevor Lawrence threw for 292 yards. The big play was he found Travis Etienne in the third quarter, late in the third quarter, on a 56-yard pass down the sideline, and he got Etienne down the field and hit him in stride, and Etienne went in for the 56-yard score. So that was the big play. They also create big plays on defense, but they're physical and they're tough, and they are hot as well. Jacksonville is 13-4 in their last 17 regular season games. They're playing good football under Doug Peterson. And, you know, I watched Houston blow them out by 20 points in late September, and Jacksonville hasn't lost since. They've won 5 in a row since that loss. In fact, they were unbeaten in the month of October. And, you know, they've got a lot of speed on the perimeter. Calvin Ridley, Christian Kirk, and the tight end, Evan Engram. You know, it's funny, Evan Engram was thought to be a real speedy, bust-out tight end coming out in the draft for the New York Giants. It just didn't work out. But now he's in Jacksonville. He had 10 catches against the Steelers for 88 yards. You know, the thing about Trevor Lawrence is he's getting the ball out fast, and he's looking for Evan Engram. And Engram, who's got tremendous speed, so you got to honor him, then just turns around in these stop routes, and they throw a little timing pass, and it's virtually impossible to stop. So look for Evan Engram on the short stuff to try to move the chains. They also have a really good kicker. Brandon McManus made 4 field goals, including a 50-plus yarder. Travis Etienne's a two-way player. Ran for 79 yards, is going for a little bit under 4 yards a carry. But he also had 3 catches for 70 yards in that 56-yard touchdown. So Jacksonville's defense is really underrated. Darius Williams, the former Rams corner, is playing tremendous football on the perimeter. Trey Herndon had an easy interception of Pickett in the first quarter and dropped it. But Jacksonville's defense held Pittsburgh to 261 total yards there in Pittsburgh at Heinz Field, or whatever they're calling it these days. So Pittsburgh did play the second half without Kenny Pickett. They knocked him out. He had a rib injury. He was knocked out by Adam Gotsis, the big defensive tackle. And Trubisky had to come in. Jacksonville got an interception to Trubisky twice. Antonio Johnson to end the game, and Andrew Wingard also picked him off. And you know, Jacksonville has some ownage on Pittsburgh. Let's not, you know, discount that. They've beaten Pittsburgh 6 of 7 in Pittsburgh. So the Jaguars in some ways are one team the Steelers just can't handle. But the Jaguars dominated on third down, the quarterback down. Jacksonville was 3 of 12 on third down conversions, 0 for 2 on fourth down conversions. So 3 for 14 on third and fourth down. They just couldn't keep drives alive. And so, you know, Pittsburgh lost balance. They lost their quarterback, and they lost the game. Jacksonville on the offensive side was very, very balanced. 30 runs, 32 passes. Defensively, they had 3 sacks. And it wasn't one of these deals where Jacksonville won this game because of turnovers. Jacksonville was actually -1 on turnover margin. The Jags turned it over 3 times. Steelers turned it over twice. And still the Jags came away with a 10-point win on the road. So what does Jacksonville want to do? They want to dominate the time of possession. And they did it in this game against the Steelers. 34 minutes and 16 seconds of possession time to 25-44 for Pittsburgh. And Trevor Lawrence, you think of Trevor Lawrence with the big arm, but he's got mobility. So you got to make sure you keep him hemmed in. He'll run for a first down if he needs to. But he also is starting to throw the ball short. And he was 24 of 32 for 292 yards, a touchdown and a pick. As I said, Evan Ingram is a guy he goes to a lot, 10 receptions for Ingram, but they also have Calvin Ridley, and Ridley's a big-time player, Christian Kirk. They've got a lot of speed, so they basically know that, and everybody knows they've got speed. Ingram's one of the faster tight ends. Kirk can run by you. Ridley's got plenty of speed. And so, you play off and you try to give them some space because you don't want them to run by you. And then they just turn around, come back to the quarterback, and they move the chains that way. And they mix in some Travis Etienne, and there's your offense. Now, on the defensive side of the ball, they're also a threat. They got the former number 1 pick overall in Trayvon Walker. He lines up on the defensive left side. He'll be going up against Colton McKivitz in this game. And Walker was the first pick in the draft for a reason. This guy gets off the ball. He's strong. He's fast. He's physically dominant. He really is. He's big, strong, fast, and he's coming off the edge. And he's not even their best rusher. Josh Allen is a tremendous defensive end, maybe as good as there is in football right now. He had 2 sacks in this game. And Allen's a speed rusher, but he also can knife back inside. He's not just a get the edge guy. So if Trent Williams is back, he's probably going to get Josh Allen most of the day. Trayvon Walker probably is going up against Colton McKivitz most of the day. This Jaguar defense will put a lot of heat on you as far as pass rush. Now, they also have 2 outstanding linebackers. You say outstanding linebackers, you think, oh, Warner and Greenlaw, and you're thinking about the Niner combo. But Foyesade Aluakon and Devin Lloyd combined for 20 tackles in this game against the Steelers. And Aluakon is just an absolute menace. He wears 54. Lloyd's a former first-round pick from the Utah Utes. These guys made 16 solo tackles. So they burn off the edges with Allen and Trayvon Walker. They've got 2 really dynamic inside backers that make all the tackles. And they've got a couple really good corners in Darius Williams and Trey Herndon. So, Jacksonville's no joke defensively. It's one of the better defenses you're going to see. And then on special teams, you got to stop Jamal Agnew. Agnew had a 27-yard kickoff return in this game against the Steelers. So this game's not going to be easy for the 49ers. There's no question about it. The Jaguars are going to be tough. The 49ers are going to have to make sure that they stop the run, and force Trevor Lawrence into some obvious passing situations. You want to make sure you get a lead against this team. Otherwise, you're going to be looking at Trayvon Walker and Josh Allen in Brock Purdy's lap all day. And Darius Williams has been a productive interceptor. So, as I said, they held Pittsburgh to 261 total yards in their own stadium. So they're going to try to play ball control. They're going to try the Niners in the run game. They're going to throw it short to Evan Ingram. The Niners are going to have to hug up in the coverage. And then there's a chance that Christian Kirk and Calvin Ridley can run by him for big gainers. So this game is going to be a very, very tough game. It starts with stopping Travis Etienne, because if Lawrence has the play action at his disposal, they're going to be near impossible to stop. And it's going to be also about the 49ers getting a lead early and taking Jacksonville out of the game that they're comfortable in, which is Allen and Walker burning the edges, sacking the quarterback. So very tough game, very tough game. And Jacksonville looked bad against Houston, really flat. But man, that might have well been a different life ago now. because they are playing tremendous football. And once again, 13-4 is what the Jaguars are in their last 17 regular season games. This is going to be a monumental challenge for the 49ers, both teams coming off their bye. All right, thanks to Underdog Fantasy for sponsoring the video. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of The Krug Show. Thanks to all you guys for supporting The Krug Show on YouTube.